Hi guys, welcome back to the startupsblog.com tutorial series on learning Lua and Corona SDK. In this lesson 1, we're going to be going over the fundamental variables, types, and how to comment, and also using the print function in the Lua programming language. So to start off, let's fire up the Corona simulator. And first up, we'll create a new project. Now, just before I go ahead and do this, if you haven't already watched the installation video on how to download and set up Corona SDK and also integrate the Corona editor within Sublime text, I recommend you first go ahead and do that before continuing on with this video and the rest of the series, because that's basically the workflow and the setup that I'll be using when we go through each of these videos. You can use any editor that you want. I just recommend that you set that up because it seems to be one of the better workflows for Corona development. Anyways, start off, go ahead and create a new project. I'm just going to call this lesson 1, and I'm going to leave all these options here to the default settings. Select next and just save that to wherever you want to. I'm just going to drop that on the desktop so it'll be easy to find. And there we go. Okay, so within that you can see that is the default project that is created. We'll go over what exactly each of these files is as we go through these videos, but initially all we need to work with is this main.lua file right here. Now, if we refer to the overall sort of diagram that I initially covered in the overview video, we can kind of see how and where main.lua fits in with the overall app development project. It's essentially the main entry point in any app development project used with Corona SDK, and we'll simply use it here to go over the fundamentals of the Lua programming language. So next, go ahead and launch the Sublime text editor. What we're going to do here is first navigate to the project folder that we just created, which was on the desktop, titled Lesson 1. So open that folder and then go ahead and click on the main.lua file. So first up, just check in the Sublime text settings that the syntax, if I can find it, is actually set to Corona SDK Lua or Lua. I recommend Corona SDK Lua because once we actually get into some of the API details, it'll do a little bit of auto completion for us, which is quite handy. Now, just first up, there's a bunch of different versions of the Lua Interpreter, and I think at current, the most recent version of the Lua Interpreter is version 5.3. However, most of the game development frameworks are packaged with Lua version 5.1, and that is the version we'll be learning here. So we can actually check that by starting off using the print command to see what Lua Interpreter version we have. So let's just start off doing that. So type in print and then underscore all capitals version and just save that. You can hit Control S on a Windows machine or Command S on a Mac. And we're not going to see anything come up in the simulator view of the smartphone, but if you go to the terminal, which is this screen here, also known as the Corona Simulator console, you'll see here it's printed off Lua 5.1. So that is in fact the version of Lua integrated in my download of Corona SDK. So next up, commenting. Pretty basic. As you can see at the very top there, the template comes with some initial comments, and you can start off using a single line comment in Lua by using the double dash or hyphen, and we'll just type a quick comment here. This is a single line comment, and of course the Lua Interpreter will ignore this line. Okay, next up, if you have a need to write a bit of a story or a multi-line comment within your text, you use the double dash followed by the double open square brackets, and you close your multi-line comment off with the closed double brackets. So we can write a comment in here. This is a multi-line comment. I am not going to write a story. Now, possibly the very first debugging tool that you need to use is the print command. We already used it up above to determine what version of Lua we are using, and it's pretty simple built-in function. You can just basically type print. You can enter in a string, which I'll cover in a second, but this is a string of text, so we can write that, and then you can basically output any information you want to the Corona Simulator console or terminal to try and help you understand where exactly you are in the execution of your app when you're testing it. So that's a very first debugging tool you want to get used to. So if we run that, run project, you'll see over in the console, you'll see over in the console here, this is a string of text. There we go. Not very exciting, but just something you want to get used to using.